Good morning, video diary. It's Monday, so it's day -2. That is 2 days, 48 hours before my first dosing appointment on the Roche gene silencing trial. So today I'm travelling down to London, where I've got a hotel for a couple of nights, to over the next sort of 48-hour period. I usually catch a train from Nottingham to London St Pancras, but today it's a bank holiday here in the UK, so it's like the heaviest or the busiest travelling season of the year, and I actually got an email from the rail company a couple of months ago, just advising that all customers to not use their rail service, because they're going to be overcrowded because of some work going on the rail lines between sort of here and London. Anyway, so no problem. I've got a coach, so I'm travelling down to coach today. So I've got to get on the coach just after lunch, I shall wend my way down to London. I shall keep you posted as we go along. Bye. My video diary. It's now Monday, just gone 5 p.m. Arrived safely in London. I've checked into the hotel that the study team put me up in. Staying here for a couple of nights, as previously mentioned. So arrived safely. I'm now going to sort of relax. I'm very excited. Looking forward to getting involved in the procedure over the next couple of days. Get on the first gene silencing stuff underway. So there we go. Yeah, the testing facility is not far away from here, about sort of 7 or 8 minutes walk. So it's basically around the corner, which will be nice. And it's a lovely sunny day, which is helping to buoy my spirits. So yeah, it's wonderful. So anyway, going to relax now. Get a bit of room service. A bit too fatigued to go to the restaurant, so room service in the room is called for, I think. So I'm going to do that while doing a bit of reading. Right, there we go. So enjoy the rest of your day. I shall keep you posted on how things go. Hi, video diary. Now it's Tuesday morning today, or Tuesday today. Today things are starting to get interesting. So I get to the hospital at 9 o'clock, or the testing centre at hospital at 9 o'clock, and they'll take urgent bloods, which they will the results of which they will use to actually manufacture the drug, or placebo, I suppose, overnight, and that prescription is what they will then inject into me via lumbar puncture tomorrow. So lumbar puncture operations tomorrow, where they will sort of remove 20 ml of cerebral spinal fluid and then add 20 ml of drug or placebo. But today, so it's bloods first thing, and then I'll do some more some neurological tests while I'm there, and on the smartphone, and what else was I going to say? Well, they're going to be doing that, yeah. And then I'll be sort of relaxing for the rest of the day, waiting for tomorrow. So yeah, things are starting to get interesting. So it's 24 hours to go before my actual dosing. So this is day -1, I guess. Yes, yesterday being day -2. So yeah, there we go. Things are starting to get fun. See you later. Enjoy your day. Well, hi, video diary. It's now kind of late afternoon on Tuesday. Had a very interesting day today. I sort of walked for about 10 minutes to get to the testing facility. And as I previously mentioned, they sort of took some bloods from me. They did I think it was like a 12-point ECG reading, and blood pressure and a few other bits and pieces. The bloods were sort of sent for urgent analysis, which means they'd get the results back as quickly as possible. So they were checking for some things, see if I'd developed anything since last time that might exclude me from having the lumbar puncture operation tomorrow. They came back okay. So while I was still there, after a few hours, they got the okay that I was, that I'd passed that sort of blood work stuff. I then had a sort of kind of another medical and some neurocognitive tasks and questions, as well as some sort of behavioural type questions asking about things like sort of potential suicide risks and stuff, all important things that I need to check on kind of this kind of neurodegenerative based clinical trial. And so there we go. Yeah, I got on site about 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. and sort of went and sort of had a coffee and some water to drink. I also needed I had to give a sample of urine, as I normally do, but I got all keyed up and couldn't go, so I was having to fill myself up with water and cups of coffee this morning to try and get myself to have a wee, which happened eventually. I've been weeing all afternoon now, so that happened. Anyway, about 12 o'clock, my dad my dad arrived. My dad was my, if I hadn't mentioned it previously, he's my study companion. So he sort of provided some additional observation on, sort of changes that affect, changes for me symptom-wise over the course of the clinical trial. So he's got a similar to me. He's got a smartphone which has got some questionnaires on that he needs, some of which he needs to fill in sort of every few days or whatnot. So yes, that was good. What we did, we were sort of roughly planning out the clinical trial visits that I do, the dosing visits, over the sort of next 3 years, 2-3 years, up to sort of the year 2021. I said that those dosings are there could be the one tomorrow, then there's one 5 weeks after that, like a top up, and then after that, from that point onwards, they'll be every 8 weeks. And sometimes there's an MRI, and sometimes there's not. So that's all been sort of worked through. So we're sort of roughly working out which sort of dates would be appropriate, and so forth. My social diary is quite free, believe it or not, for the next few years. Unfortunately, I should say. But being a singleton, it's quite easy. A singleton who's essentially, lots of free time on his hands. So there we go. Really, it's very interesting, very excited. Anyway, after that, my dad's staying in the same hotel as I am, so we walked back at about 2 o'clock. I think we'd finished up 2-3 o'clock. We kind of walked back to the hotel. As before my dad could check in, so we sort of put his bag in my room. Then we went out for a walk. We'd had some lunch, and then we went out to have a nice coffee and sort of wandered around a little bit. We're in the local area. We sort of went to Russell Square, had a sort of coffee there. It's been very nice wandering around. It's been extremely warm, about 32 degrees centigrade, which is quite warm for here. And you can probably tell I'm quite hot. Anyway, so what time is it now? About quarter to 5. So just go back to the hotel. So my dad's checked in, gone to his room. So I'm just sort of having a relax. For a while, we're going to go down for lunch. Let's go down for our evening meal about 7:30. So I'm just going to chillax and relax here for an hour or so. Then I'm going to have a shower, get ready, get some fresh clothes on, and chill out. Then we've got tomorrow. Now tomorrow, it's a slightly earlier start for me. I've got to be on site for 8:30 tomorrow, just so they can see that I'm there and ready to have the lumbar puncture when they're ready for me. So the lumbar puncture itself is probably going to be around sort of 10:30, 11. And so the lumbar puncture itself will take about sort of 15 minutes, and we sort of withdraw 20 ml of cerebral spinal fluid, and put in 20 ml of the drug or placebo. and then I shall be walking up and down the corridors around the testing centre to get that CSF sort of churning around to get the drug where it needs to go, which is around the top of the surface of the brain, and then down into the brain, actually the basal ganglia region of the brain, which is where the damage is being done due to the toxic form of the Huntington protein. So that's where they want the gene silencer drug to go to, ideally. There we go, and that'll be it. Anyway, so more on that tomorrow. I shall hopefully, if I remember, do another video diary tomorrow morning before I go down to site. So anyway, just wanted to give you an update. Bye. Hi video diary. Hello. Well, the lumbar puncture has finished a couple of days ago now. So I thought I'd let you know kind of how it went really. So I arrived at the clinical testing facility about 8:30 in the morning. On the day of the lumbar puncture. So I got there, got settled, sort of had a kind of another sort of last minute set of neurological and physical checks. Then sort of about 10ish, the team from the pharmacy arrived with the either the drug made out of the antisense oligonucleotides or placebo. So basically they came and they began the lumbar puncture procedure. I'd be lying if I said I enjoyed it, because I didn't enjoy it. I mean, we would enjoy lumbar puncture, I suppose, but I've had lumbar punctures previously for like the HD-CSF trial, and well, not pleasant. They weren't quite as uncomfortable as the one that I just had. I think it was we'll have to sort of find precisely where to insert the needle, sort of in between the vertebrae at a certain point in your back, in the sort of the lower lumbar area, and they have to sort of first of all sort of find an area very carefully using fingers. I believe they could also use ultrasound to do it, but they do sort of a manual feeling process, finding the spot which they need to sort of insert the actual needle, and they sort of they give you a little bit of local anaesthetic to sort of help with the initial insertion of the needle, and that was there's a little shock like all sorts of local anaesthetic injections are, but sort of then push this sort of very fine needle in to get to the point, and that was a little painful, but what they do is when they find the right spot, the needle comes against the spinal cord, and they will sort of push, so you sort of feel a very sharp pushing deep in your spine when it's at the right spot. But that sort of initial, actually getting it inserted, you feel, for some reason now, for me that was really painful, and it was sort of, I managed to persevere until that pushing, they managed to push the needle into the spinal cord, and that's actually that was the only uncomfortable bit. The rest of the procedure was completely painless, well, it was more, compared to that, painless. But it was, I don't know, that actual getting that pushed through the surface of the spinal cord, God, that was really painful, and it was tricky because you have to try and keep really still. I mean, they get you sort of lay in a sort of fetal position on a couch on your side, and you put your head down, you put your head sort of down, and your legs are up against you, look like so, and you sort of curve round, but you have to sort of remain still as they put the needle through your back, but I was you also have to try and keep still, so they're telling you to keep still. But to try and relax, because the more the tense you are, the more the more engaged your muscles, are. I think that's more. They have more trouble getting it to the right spot, and it's more painful. So it's tricky because as a HD person in particular, if I need to try and keep still, I have to, you engage whatever muscle. So like if I want to keep my hands as still as possible, I'm engaging them slightly. So the muscles are engaged, holding them still, rather than letting them wiggle around a bit. Because as a HD person, it's very difficult to keep very still and keep very relaxed, especially when under sort of sharp, quite unpleasant pain. So I think I've been talking to other people on the trial, and they've advised that to try and do some back stretches just immediately before the lumbar puncture next time. Try and make sure that the muscles of your back are as sort of as relaxed, as warmed up as possible. And then I'm also going to try and, when it was actually happening, I didn't really appreciate what a difference being engaged, keep my body engaged, would make to it from a pain perspective. So, although once you're in pain, it's difficult to really change strategy or do anything like that. But now in advance of the actual lumbar puncture itself on the day, I'm going to try and mindfully keep as relaxed as possible while as still as possible, and see if that helps at all. But definitely going to also give the back stretches, get my back warmed up before the next lumbar puncture. So we'll do that. Anyway, but once that bit had happened, and apparently they usually have about up to 3 attempts. Once they've tried 3 times, if they haven't happened by then, they need to stop for the day, and they would start the next day, I guess. But anyway, I managed to persevere once they made that initial push into the spinal cord, and then it was just a matter of they were sort of aspirating 20 ml of cerebral spinal fluid, which you don't feel. They're just sort of putting that out. And then once they've done that, that's where they then put in 20 ml or inject 20 ml of the drug or placebo into the spinal cord. So hopefully they've got antisense oligonucleotides, so then sort of within the spine and cerebral spinal fluid in your spine, and then immediately after that, and this was a change from previous lumbar punctures that I've had. Normally what's happened is when they were just sort of withdrawing cerebral spinal fluid, you would lay sort of flat for an hour or so. I think because you've got that because of that loss of pressure in the spinal column can give you quite sharp headaches if you sit up after that. But because they inserted 20 ml, injected 20 ml, the equal amount that they'd aspirated, that wasn't an issue. So I basically stood up straight away, and then I had to sort of walk around the lab facility sort of briskly for 30 minutes. That's to sort of get the heart rate going, and to get the drug in the spine moving up and mixing up through the spinal cord, mixing up through the rest of the CSF, and get that drug into the brain, to the surface of the brain, which is what happens to the CSF bathes the surface of the brain, and then the drug was able to sort of get deep down into the basal ganglia region of the brain, which is that deep region of the brain, which is actually that's the area of the brain that the toxic form of the Huntington protein that my body produces, that's where the damage is being done. That's part of the brain that is eating away, that does all the damage to all the various HD symptoms result from that error, and that's where they need them. So that's where they need the drugs to go. The drug goes through that area, and is then over the next few weeks that's going to build up the antisense, or the antisense oligonucleotides will enable the silencing and reduction of levels of the Huntington protein in general, both wild type and the mutant form as well. So that's what's kind of going on. So I was basically walking around for half an hour, and then I had to sort of relax and recover for an hour, and sort of chatting to my study partner, who's my dad, So shout out to my dad for being brilliant and sort of coming along and helping me. So we did that. And so yes, once I sort of recovered, I was sort of given another set of neurological checks to make sure that I could be discharged, and then I was discharged and I made my way back home again. So that's that, yeah. So the next one, the next lumbar puncture is a top-up procedure in 4 weeks' time. I've got a list of all my dates and things of all the various procedures that I've got over the next couple of years. But so 4 weeks' time, it's that top-up procedure to top up the levels of the drug. And then from that point on, it'll be every 8 weeks for the next 2 years, which is at the level of my involvement in this phase of the Roche gene silencing trial. So yeah, that's it. So that will involve sort of I think 3 or 4 MRIs over that period. So not every single dose time will be an MRI, but for a few of them there will be. And the MRI is checking the size of that area of the brain. So if the drug is active in the way that they hope it will be, they're expecting and hoping that the area of the brain that will be growing bigger as the damage increases at a known rate over the next couple of years. They're hoping that the increase in size of the damaged area of the brain will be less. So that will be one of the biomarkers they're looking for. They've also got a whole series of other biomarkers relating to sort of motor and balance and coordination, hence the sensors in the smartwatch and on the phone that we carry around. So that we're checking, measuring how your performance changes in those kind of motor and neurocognitive assessments being done on a daily basis. So very exciting stuff. It's humbling really to be involved in this trial, something that's so positive and is looking to be. It's so promising, and the sort of all the work, the sort of the research and the clinical work leading up to this point, it's really looking so positive, and fingers crossed they're looking at hopefully a kind of sort of halt in the degradation of symptoms, and possibly even a slight rolling back in some. So we'll see. So it's looking really awesome. It's really great. It's I think this is a key turning point for the HD community, for HD patients and their families. It really is, yeah. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed the trial works as they hope it will, and fingers crossed I get the drug, not the placebo. So we shall see. But as I might have mentioned, after that sort of the study period, if the drug is found to be helpful, then everybody will get given it immediately from that point in what's called an open label extension. So even if anybody's on the placebo, me included, they would then get the drug itself at the end of the trial. So there's no delay. You don't have to wait for it to become available on prescription, for instance. So that's one of the benefits of being on the trial, even if on a placebo, is that not only you helping them determine whether the drug does what they want it will, but you also get early access to it. Essentially, you get access immediately after the trial. You don't have to wait a couple of years while the results are analysed and fully, and before you can actually get it available on prescription by your GP. So yeah, there we go. So all very good. One extra thing I wanted to mention, it's been a couple of days since the lumbar puncture, or a few days actually, and it's sort of later. It took a while to sort of just generally kind of recover over that time. I've just been catching up on I share the video diaries on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram and on Twitter, as well as on YouTube. Yeah. So it's just been catching up on all the various. There's been hundreds and hundreds of people reacting, liking the various posts I've been putting and the video diaries and so forth. Hundreds of comments by people on you know, offering support and, you know, well wishes, and people within the HD community who know how much is riding on these trials. It's been amazing. It's incredibly boosting and motivating to see everybody. So I just want to say thank you so much for anybody who's watched these videos or looked at any of the photos that I post and the messages that I put on social media, whichever platform that might be, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. So yeah, it's been awesome. I can't respond to anywhere near the amount of all those comments. I tried to respond to a few, but I just want to put that out there. So thank you so much for watching any of these things. Anybody who's looking at them now, or you know, later on in years to come, looking back on this, it's humbling to have people looking at my story and my HD journey over all these years. So it means a lot. Yeah, I want to say that. So if anybody has any questions or whatever, send me a message and I'll do my best to answer them. But I think that's probably enough for this video diary now, don't you? So hang on, I'll get my phone. There we go. So just hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and yeah, chat to you soon. Bye.